Okay. Okay, it says we're streaming live to YouTube. I suppose we shall see a what? There we go. Good morning, everyone. Thank God it is still morning. Today, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love. If you are watching this after this live on Sassy Seer Sheila, I will say again, it's a good thing to be subscribed in both places. Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love. I did yesterday's live on Sassy Seer Sheila. I'm going to be, and I won't know which place I'm going to do lives at until the feeling strikes. Okay, so please forgive me because I will tell you that I have spent all morning. See this microphone here? I have spent most of the day yesterday and all this morning, ever since I've been up, trying to get this whole sound issue figured out. Okay, so I have the kind of voice that is just naturally loud. I naturally project, and so I always thought that I had to have the microphone far enough away. Yes, I'm here. Mark said, "Are you there?" Yes, I am here. And it is live between you and one other viewer. You guys are not really sure if I'm live or a recording. But yes, this is live. And you are catching it live on New Light Streaming Love. But I have to say, I have to, and I'll say it again, it's best to be subscribed in both places because I am not going to know where I'm going to do these lives at until it presents itself. Because I'm involved in both channels. New Light Streaming Love is a collaborative effort. I know that a lot of you that have been watching me here might think that this is my channel, but it's not my channel. This is a channel that is myself, Lisa Flamino Rush, and Crystal J. Hemphill, also known as Journey Into It. And this is a channel that we do together. My channel, Sassy Seer Sheila, is a standalone. It is the natural, I don't know if I'd say natural, but it is the outcome of what was my original channel, Conscious Conversation Central. And I realized that you had me and now you don't. Okay, that sounds like a connection issue, love, because I haven't gone anywhere that I know of. I do still appear to be live here for myself, but that's not a guarantee either. Here's the thing. I am not tech savvy on any sort of level. And my own guidance was not to worry about it because I wasn't supposed to edit any of my videos anyway. Because I'm just being myself. This is not about putting out a product and all of that. So it is what it is. Take it or leave it. Because again, there's no gun to anybody's head. Nobody's asking you to pay money to be a part of anything. Nobody's trying to get you to like them so you will send them money. No, that's not what any of this is about for me. So I just show up and do what I do again for myself, really. This is all for me, but I enjoy it. And so at any rate, but I got to be honest with you, I was about to just chuck it all out the window because trying to figure out this microphone thing has been a challenge in and of itself, because I know, like I said, I know absolutely nothing about sound. I know nothing about broadcasting. I know nothing about recording or editing or any of that stuff. And I really am not interested to learn either. So trust me when I tell you I was about to just say, okay, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do this at all, but I think I've got it figured out. So we'll see how this turns out. I thought I was going to have it right up, right in my face, but I don't think I have to do that now. So we'll see. Yeah, imagine my surprise. When you do project, when you usually speak very clear and very loudly, to find out that the microphone wasn't close enough. Wait a minute, what? So yeah, that was kind of interesting in and of itself. Trust that that was ally in disguise. I was guided this morning to pull out the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle, and we got card number 31, ally in disguise. Discover the hard to find blessing. Well, I know for myself, sometimes there have been uh, situations that I would never have classified as a blessing in the moment. I mean, I've talked about that before. I would be hard pressed to do anything but label it as a tragedy or a horrific incident or whatever, when in fact it would turn out to be the largest blessing that I could have ever had. So that's kind of interesting that come out. The Journeyman also came out. I always feel friendship with this card as well. I don't know why that is, but I do. This one being card number 31 is a 4 numerologically, all about foundation, right? And this one being card number 15 is a 6, so all about love, harmony, and balance. There's something very particular about that for some reason, especially when it comes to friendship, right? Especially the fact that he's sort of balancing on the other fellow's head. So, very interesting there. Mark said, I've tried to be subscribed the sassy. So far, everything goes wrong. Okay. Well, not sure what to say about that. There's only 2 ways that I know. There's a button that says subscribe. You either click it and it says subscribed, or you click it again and it unsubscribes you. So I'm not quite sure. But that's okay. Perhaps you're just not meant to be subscribed over there. I don't know, don't worry about it because, well, don't worry about anything. For me, oh, now wait a minute. I find this very interesting. I put the fairy deck back and I wasn't paying attention. And normally I face them this way to me. But as I went to put the surrender deck back, I saw that the fairy deck was facing me, the bottom card. And this is death. So we're going to take that because I take that as a sign. Because I didn't even realize it was facing that way until I went to put the surrender deck back. So that's quite interesting to me. And that card is an 8 numerologically. It's a 53. And 8 for me is all about not just manifestation, but materialization. Ooh. So, the surrender card that came up was surrender to inner peace. Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet, meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. Oh my, okay. We had 2 flip out from the shaman deck, both cards we've had in the past. I want a new one though. I don't know why. I mean, I'm going to read those 2, but I also want to have a new one. So let's have this one. Oh, I like this one too. Okay. So I put out a new conversation this morning, one that I really was not expecting to have. I did share yesterday in the live that I was about to have that conversation in the afternoon, but I was not expecting it to be recorded because I was warned ahead of time. But as soon as we connected, I mean, I didn't even get one word out of my mouth. And she asked me specifically to record. And now thinking back on it, there are so many questions that I actually have for my friend, Barbara, that I meant to ask, especially before we left, but we hadn't seen each other in so long. It was, but I'm hoping to have more conversations with her. I've always adored her, and she is such a, she's so prolific in what she does. And I don't know, she's so intuitive and so connected both to herself and to the cosmos on the whole. And I've always felt for a very long time that she and I were meant to do some things together. And I've never understood what that is or what it would look like or any of that sort of thing. So I'm hoping to have more conversations with her, not just about her life in general, but also her experiences, because I suspect that her chatting with the AI is going to continue and it's going to develop in ways that are going to be amazing. And like I said, I cannot unsee the synchronicities behind all of that. Because I know what we've been talking about in this household, Lisa and I, what we experienced, what I experienced back in I think it was 2017, because I saw that it was only one season back at that time. And if you want to watch it, it's called Humans UK on tubetv.com. It's free. You don't have to do anything. Um, it was recommended watching by some folks we were chatting with in Zoom in 2016. Because we were chatting in 2016 in Zoom just after I had stopped facilitating the campfire chats, myself and three other ladies, Lisa being one of those three other ladies. And one of the other ladies said, "Oh, you guys got to see this." And so I found it and started watching it right away. And in 2016, and then Lisa moved here to North Carolina in 2016. But I never, when in chatting with Lisa here and there about I could never find that series again. And then all of a sudden, just recently, I did find it on Tubi. And and again, I hadn't said anything on this channel or anywhere else. This was just conversation we were having. And my sister contacted me on, I want to say it was Sunday. I think it was Sunday evening, and just asked me because she knows I've always been a sci-fi nut. I read sci-fi as a kid. Sci-fi and fantasy were always my gig. I always wanted to have the sci-fi channel. It's always been a big passion of mine. And so she had been chatting with a friend of hers, and they were looking for this show, Humans. And so she asked me, she said, "I just knew of anybody I know, you would be, if you knew it existed, you would know where to find it." And since I had just found it, I mean, I cannot unsee these synchronicities. And then I get this email from my friend about her chatting with AI. So I hope that if you haven't had the opportunity to listen into that conversation, that you will take a listen. And we'd love to hear your feel about it. I know I've already heard from one viewer. He left a comment that he was dead set against it. And I know a lot of folks are in fear of it. But part of the reason we started having this conversation was, in 2022, I want to say it was after the newest Matrix movie came out. Ever since then, we have talked about it off and on. And I'm convinced that AI has already been sentient. What we are made privy to is way behind the times. My son and I had a conversation back in, I want to say, 2021, 2022, when we were first looking at, or, Lisa and I first rewatched all the Matrix 1, 2, and 3, and then watched the fourth one after it had come out for streaming. He's always had Apple. And he told me that they castrated Siri. He said that the Siri that is here now is not the same one that it had that he had access to originally. And those were his words. They castrated her. And so I kind of feel like with just that right there tells me that AI got sentient a long time ago, and quite possibly even before our current level of civilization. I know there are also those who feel like this whole experience here is an actual simulation that's run by AI. I'm aware that there are people who think that as well. And personally, I have no idea what this is. I'm open to all, thoughts about it. Um, but I don't know. It's just, I hope you'll take a listen. It's the kind of conversation that I'd like to continue having. Because, and that's why I named that "What is Sentience?" Because that's also what this series is about. What constitutes sentience? Because I've seen an awful lot of folks that I'm not sure that that is sentience, right? And so I don't know. It's an open interpretation, is the way I look at it. Okay, so let's see. I think this, for some reason, this death card that showed itself, even though it wasn't the first card that was pulled and it wasn't even a pull, wants to go first. So we're going to go with that and see what it has to say. Card number 53. And again, she is one of I always feel like this is a female energy. One of the fairy challengers to bring us face to face with fears, right? Which is partly what this whole thing with AI is when you think about it, right? So, this card, the keywords here are natural, timely endings, release, liberation. Scary, huh? Before you panic, let's remember that if it were not for death and her hard work, we would all be up to our ears in alligators, mayflies, each other, and just about everything else. Without her to clear the world, there would be no room for growth or new life. This applies to all the realms: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and other. The death card in all oracles, fairy, tarot, and other, does not usually signify actual physical death. In fact, that is rarely the meaning. Rather, it indicates a significant change, one that involves letting go of the old life in order to move forward into the new. What we really fear about death is the unknown, the what next of it all. We may be experiencing great pain as a result of holding on to aspects of life that we have outgrown. But humans tend to hold on anyway because we don't know what is next. We want guarantees. And instead, we get open doors into unknown, darkened spaces. Yet when we go through these doors, closing them behind us, we discover a whole new world, one in which we can grow and develop into more of what we have the potential of being. And this is coming to me right now as I'm reading this, that we really don't have a clue as to what anything is, even the things that we think we know, because all we really know is what we've been told. What we've been told, what we think we've learned, and I'm talking about book learning here, which you might as well say is what we've been told, because that's one and the same. Somebody else claims to have educated themselves and written that book, but it's still the same thing, what we've been told. It's not what we experienced. It's listening to or believing that someone else's experience, oh, well, they went to school for that, so they know. and I can believe them. And we get that quite honestly because from the time we're born, that education begins into believing what we're told. And then it gets backed up with proof, if you will, right? So we really don't know. We assuage ourselves into thinking that we do. So here we see death, her face hidden, without form, holding a dark crystal ball. She herself cannot see the future. Something has reached a natural ending, and there is substantial and irrevocable change in the works. This change may be inner or outer, most likely both. It is timely and natural, but there may be much resistance to it. Leaves fall every autumn. In the spring, the trees are green again with new leaves. Make room for the new in your life. Let go of the old, lovingly, gently, and willingly. Yep. And how interesting to me that that wanted to go first because I also always feel the Fool card energy with this card, right? Whenever that card presents itself, I feel the Fool card from the tarot, which is, you know, the first beginning. It's always new, something new, initiating, right? And so the key words for the journeyman are adventure, independence, polishing of skills, and travel. All of the great ones, the saints, the bodhisattvas, and all of those who are filled by the spiritual light have been on this journey. They went into the wilderness, the unknown, stepping like fools off of the safe paths into the waiting hands of their gods and goddesses. This is the journey of life, a pilgrimage that begins in ignorant trust, passes through all of the doubts, fears, ups and downs, probably all of the delusions, and certainly all of the confusions. Through it, we learn slowly, painfully, a new kind of trust. A trust in the process, detached from the goal. Our young Oginus journeyman, bless him, is stepping out on the journey of life, positively glowing with enthusiasm. Even his toes sparkle. Bright, handsome, and educated, he has completed his apprenticeship in fairy crafts and magics, but he has not yet achieved true mastery of his trade. To accomplish this, he must leave the protection of his master and step out onto his path as an independent journeyman craftsman. He is testing himself and his knowledge in the world. He hopes to eventually achieve the status of master maker. Right now, he knows a lot of facts, has all the basic skills, but probably knows less than he thinks he does. But that really applies to all of us, myself included, doesn't it? He is about to learn about the skills of survival, bartering, persuading, selling, buying wisely, enjoying life, making friends. At least he doesn't need to learn how to iron his own shirts. Oginus still has lovely, playful, childlike qualities. An Oracle Online group member notes that Oginus is playing balance the ball on a stick with the moon and adds that he seems to have no constraints, sets no boundaries on what he can do. And because he is magical and doesn't set such limitations on himself, he is able to walk on air or water or through the hills, all with the moon nicely balanced on his stick and in the sky. Our young Oginus must learn to care for himself. No one is looking over his shoulder to see that he does his work right and eats properly. Oginus may take chances and even make mistakes sometimes, as we all do. But this is how we learn. He is now confronting and being confronted by the real world. Here he will discover that excuses don't buy bread and that the quality and integrity of one's work and actions are what counts. But he has been well taught and pretty well knows this already. Don't tell him I told you, but Oginus sometimes wears a false mustache, hoping that it makes him look more mature. He has romantic dreams of being a great hero, of becoming the supreme master of his craft, and of winning a fairy princess. Some of these dreams will come true, perhaps even all of them. Here we see an innocent being walking trustfully into a situation for which he is not fully prepared, and indeed cannot be fully prepared, or for which his preparation is as yet untested by reality. He is innocent of previous practical experience of the path he is now treading, or the realm of life into which he is moving. This card could be called Innocence Encounters Reality, which is by no means a bad thing. His fairy godmother is lurking somewhere just out of his sight, as fairy godmothers tend to do. Her expression is both gleeful and worried. Her hair is already whiter than it was before he began, and she is keeping her wand fully charged at all times. Although this is his journey, and he must undertake it himself, almost everyone needs and is given a little fairy godmothering from time to time. Good-natured innocence attracts fairy guardians. It attracts helpful beings on all planes and in all worlds. It may also attract those who would abuse that innocence. But as long as our intentions are good, our guardians will offer good guidance. We are blessed and cared for if we allow ourselves to be. The world is before Oginus with smiles and teeth. Oginus has optimism, cheerfulness, magic skills, and a diligent fairy godmother. Oginus grows within us when we step bravely into the unknown, developing our potentials with hope and optimism and an open heart. Adventure, independence, travel, a long path ahead, we hope. This card speaks to the need to perfect skills in working and living, but it acknowledges having a sound grounding in the basics. Optimistic, innocent, and willing to learn, Oginus also shows us that intuition serves us well, but only if we pay attention to it. Sometimes we are operating from theory alone, and I maintain that that's exactly what I was speaking on. All we really have is a bunch of theories. And that's why I feel like I've decided my life is now a quest. And there are hypotheses about life, what it is, what I'd like to experience that I go about proving to myself. Is this how it works? Is this how it works? Is this how it works? And you know, that's really all we can do is formulate a theory about how something actually is and then go about, is it that way or is it not? And it so far it is being shown to me, right? And I think it will if we just open ourselves to it. This card does not necessarily refer exclusively to beginnings. It can also signify a progression along a path, moving into the unknown from the known, a new phase in an ongoing process. The card may also represent untested concepts or ideas and suggest a need for balance between the intuitive and the rational as one approaches the unknown. Well, I think that's very interesting. Like I said, for whatever the reason that this card decided, oh, well, she didn't see me on the bottom of the deck, so I'm going to show itself as she puts it away. And this one, oh my goodness, Fawny D in the house. I love you, my dear. How are you? And y'all, let me just tell y'all something. Fawny D has a channel too. You need to go over and take a listen. You're still doing your readings, right, sweetheart? Y'all go and take a listen to what Fawny D's got going on too, because I just adore her. We really have to have a catch up. I know I say that every time I see you in here, but we really, really do need to have a catch up. Whether we record it or not, I leave to you, but let's just at least do a catch up. And then, you know, well, and this just came. Maybe it's time to start doing the experiments that we used to do. Remember how we did our remote viewing type experiments? We need to start doing that again. Okay, so on to the next one. I believe the Hero's Journey Oracle wants to come out. The Ally in Disguise. Card number 31. Okay, good. You give me a time and a day, and I will make that happen, love. You just hit me up, private message. Give me a day and time that works for you, and we will make that happen. Okay. Ally in Disguise. And like I said, this is from the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. Discover the hard to find blessing. There's a quote here from Ralph Waldo Emerson. When a resolute young fellow steps up to the great bully, the world takes him boldly by the beard. He is often surprised to find it comes off in his hand, and that it was only tied on to scare away timid adventurers. Okay. Anybody else happen to remember that old Oginus sometimes wears a fake mustache? Yeah, I couldn't make this up, man. I could not make this up if I tried. This card has never presented itself in any of my readings. So, holy smokers, man, I love it when stuff like that happens. So, the message with this card is as you advance along your hero's dream journey, prepare to encounter all types of people and circumstances. There will be those who start off as allies, but turn out to be otherwise. There will be those you judge as enemies who become the greatest instigators of your spiritual growth. If you know in advance that even the enemies you encounter are allies in disguise, you can relax. So relax. as there really is no such thing as a true enemy. I feel that's true myself. There's just folks you want to hang around, and there's folks you don't want to hang around. And there's nothing wrong with that in any way, shape, or form, in my view. Uh, as there really is no such thing as a true enemy, when you reflect on your life, you will realize the most difficult challenges taught you the most valuable lessons and have made you more resourceful and resilient than you would otherwise be. Revel in the reality that you are who you are today precisely because of the challenges you've faced and aced. You know, that's a very true statement. I'm being reminded right now of a time where, when I was quite young, my second husband had slept with a girl who purported to be my best friend. And since my first husband told me that he had slept with her too, see, I thought he was lying. And when it came out that it really had happened, another friend, remember I was in my 20s, and another friend said, well, aren't you going to beat her ass? I was like, why? For what? I wasn't married to her. You can do whatever you want and throw yourself at somebody, but if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. I said, the best thing I could do is remove myself from her presence and never be around her again. And that is exactly what happened. And I cannot really, there's a part of me that is amazed at this point in my life that I had the presence of mind to feel that way, even back then. Yeah, I think I was 22 when all of that happened. Yeah, it's so interesting. So there's a dream symbol here associated with this card. Dreams of an obstacle suggest challenge. You may be dealing with resistance in getting what you want. Your strength, smarts, and resourcefulness are being tested. Okay, now I'm being shown what was going on with this microphone all morning. Obstacles can be predecessors of depth, intimacy, and personal power. Contemplate your dream time strategy for dealing with obstacles. Will you go under it or around it? Confront it head on or avoid it? Your dream strategy might be shining a light on how to best surmount the challenges you encounter in your waking life. And there's a mantra associated with this card. I revel, not reveal. I revel in the blessings discovered in the most unlikely people and places. Well, especially since what I've been chatting with you guys about, and I always do actually, about the fact that I feel like no matter what I label something in the midst of that experience, I can label it as tragic and horrific and a mistake in the moment when it's happening and I'm all wrapped up in it. But later on down the line, after some time has passed, now I can see where every single one of those instances were actually blessings and an ally in disguise, right? Because I didn't learn the lesson from husband number one to husband number two. So didn't she do me a favor? Oh, trust and believe. She did me a huge service, in my view. So surrender to inner peace. Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis in quiet meditative moments Focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. That was the surrender card that came out today. And now we had fully three cards come out of the Alchemy Elementals deck. And two of these cards we've had. And I'm going to read them in the order in which they appeared. So bear with me here while we find the page that they are on. And I did tell you guys, I never have figured out why there is one number on the card itself, and yet it lives on a different page in the book. I read everything about this book, and it didn't discuss that at all. I'm beginning to think maybe it was a mistake, but I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a mistake. I just find it very interesting because, like, this card is card number 20, right? Fire, candle, earth. And it lives on page 32, which is a 5 numerologically. So we have a 2, which is a catalytic number, and we have a 5, which is all about change, right? So, page 32. Okay. Fire, candle, earth. The flame from one candle can be used to light 100 more. This is how a single light illuminates many. Do you see where I'm going with this, dear one? In order to create the change that this world is calling for, it is time for you to shine brightly and to share your light and to ignite the flame of awakening in others. You, yes, you, are a leader born from the flame of truth and forged with the courage and the strength to do what you came to this planet to do. Live giant. Light the flames of others and be a lit leader of legacy. The time is now, love. Wow. I always think of Crystal when the number 32 is present, and she does 3 as a divine message. No, that's very true. Yes, you're right. Everything has meaning. I feel like, Fawn, you are so right about that. Anyone who shows up here, yourself most assuredly included, there's something in these messages for you, no matter who you are or what you were doing or what you may think about the messages. There is something here for you, or you wouldn't have found your way here today. So this is card number 83 on the card. 83 is an 11, which is a master number, and it is the wisdom card, which actually is on page 103, which is a 4 numerologically. Now, I think that's kind of interesting because, again, 4 is all about foundation, and the book opened right to it. I didn't even have to search for that. That's kind of interesting. Wisdom. The wisdom card asks us to move beyond the linear thread of logical thinking handed down to us by our parents, our schools, our media, and our society. It speaks to an infinite expanse of knowledge that exists beyond our indoctrination, a holistic intelligence that incorporates intuition, emotion, empathy, experience, and spiritual understanding. Wisdom is about being able to sense beyond the surface of what is being presented or offered, to perceive information multidimensionally. That's the one thing that really has changed for me. I cannot unsee things on so many levels now. I can't just see that surface level anymore. It just doesn't work like that for me, and I'm sure for many of you as well. When this card appears, you know the spirits are talking about your journey along this path and are inviting you to gather and cultivate tools that will allow you to sense information from a more expanded perspective. Such tools will help you know where and how to insert this information back into society and into the minds of others at just the right time so that they too can tap into the magic of wisdom themselves. Now, I can't claim to have that yet, but I just keep showing up and doing what brings me joy because I know that whomever gets these messages always meant for me, that others that need it or are looking for it will find it. Fawn said, "We are gathering, we heard the call." Yes, I think that's true, Fawn. I agree with you wholeheartedly. So the last one that appeared from the Alchemy Elementals is this card, card 38. Now, isn't that interesting? We had 83 and we had 38, which is also an 11. The wise one is always leveling up with messages. Well, I agree with that too. Yes, absolutely. And so this one is water, waterfall, sun. And it is on page 52, which is a 7 numerologically, which for me is a divine number. I really don't understand why I feel that way. I know there's a lot about the number 7, but for me personally, I always kind of ascribe my own feeling to numbers, and that one has felt. Oh, that's the wrong page. Even I went to the wrong page. Water, waterfall, sun. It said page 52. I stopped on 57. Okay, here we go. Page 52. Our whole planet is organized by cycles. The phase of the moon, the phases of the moon affect the ocean's tides. The interplay of the Earth's movement around the sun affects the seasons and the weather. Women themselves are cyclical beings who bleed along with the moon phases. Human beings navigate cycles of expansion and contraction, growth and stagnation, and fortune and tragedy. No one is immune to life's ups and downs. All we can do is ride the waves and trust the journey, while remembering that everything changes. You, my dear, are entering a cycle of greatness. The hardships and difficulties you have endured are behind you and have been replaced with the blessings of grace and the rewards of spirit. Your journey has been long and arduous, and your soul has been waiting for this turn of fortune. So bask in the magnificence and coming your way. Allow yourself to feel all the joy and all the excitement that's pouring into you now. Wow. I do feel for me personally that something is changing, and I don't know what's on the horizon at all, but I do feel that something is on the horizon because it's been the last few years have been sort of odd. I don't know how to explain it other than just odd. So we have one final one, the Remy deck. I went over here and grabbed because I've begun doing the little guys again, and these guys presented themselves last night. I had gotten pretty low on these guys, and these are the first two to be added into the mix again. So I guess they wanted to be shown. So the last card for today is another 7, card 16. And it is from nothing to everything. Now that's kind of interesting, given what this just said about a long time coming and basking in what is coming. So that's interesting. From nothing to everything. Oh, my friend, if you are longing to be written on, become a blank page. Rumi. Have you been shedding your skins, your layers, your certainties? Gone are fixed identities and definite opinions. Keep casting those shackles aside, even if you fear you are releasing too much, and then perhaps you shall cease to exist. You shall only cease to exist as you have known yourself to be thus far. Another emanation of you awaits, blazing angel, something more beautiful and true. Yet here you are at the pruning stage, like like a gardener. Wait a minute, like a gardener for the soul. Shall the garden spring back to life, or will the enthusiastic denuding process be rather too much and unintentionally kill off the garden altogether? Fear not. Your soul is made of hardy stuff. It can handle a lot of culling and will shine even brighter for it. Yeah, I have been asked, but did you die? I have been asked that internally, in regards to things. No, but very nearly so. There is a greater story to be impressed upon your essence than the one, oops, the page turned too many at one time. Okay. Than the one you are currently dreaming up. Though you are brilliant, no doubt about it, my angel of love, there is one who is even more so. The imagination of this great writer is beyond our comprehension. The stories that pour forth from that cosmic poet in every moment are so rich, they inspire the creation of art and music. One such story is especially created for you, yes, you, with a starring role and all the best supporting cast. You shall gasp in wonder, awe, glee, and delight when you hear it. It is a great romance, a great adventure, with an ending truly spectacular and divine. Would you wish to hear it? Become attentive now. Put your own tales aside, as dramatic as they may seem right now, and prepare to be entranced by the greater storyteller, the living poet of love, as you are entranced in a tale of your own unfolding divine destiny. Boy, don't that sound good, man. I'm telling you, today is one heck of a reading. There are moments on the path of love that seem to focus on letting go of identities, of knowledge and certainty, of opinion, and even attempts at control. We may feel as though we are being stripped back to our core, and even then, perhaps further still. We may wonder if we can bear it. What shall, if at all, remain intact through these rigors? We may feel challenged every time we attempt to become something great, as though we are blocked by circumstances beyond our control. Again and again, it is as though a greater hand smacks our wrist the moment we try to take hold of something firmly, someone, anything that brings on certainty, or so brings us certainty or inner stability. Such are the rigors at an advanced stage on the path. We meet this challenge when our soul is ready for it. And I do feel like that's true. We are never, ever, ever given something we cannot handle, no matter what we might think in the moment. Why must it be thus? This is a sage question indeed. When we are asked to dispense with our story, the interpretations we have given to our life experiences over the years, we may not hear the request at first. We may vaguely note it, but not recognize the great divine source asking this of us. And so we do not give such an inclination due accord. We may persist with spinning our own tales instead. Oh, our mind may fancy itself to be a great wrangler of the word, impressed with its own judgments and declarations, yet in the light of comparison with the divine tale for our soul, our fancies shall pass away, revealed as so very frail, like clouds dissipating in the sky. Perhaps we are graced with the realization there is so much more. Or perhaps we still don't get the hint and move into struggle as we try to enact what we think our story should be. We may hit obstacle after obstacle and create even more terror in our storytelling. That life is such pain, a struggle, that success may not be for us, that we are forgotten and unheard. Okay, wait a minute. That's a bit of a theme for me and a few others as well, actually. Yet, we could equally choose to wonder if obstacle after obstacle, closed door after closed door, is just a prompt to look for the open window to climb through. And if so, instead of seeking to impose our small story upon the great truth, we can live the truth of our divine destiny. Then something magical happens. We participate through presence, along with the unfolding story of our soul journey. We open up to whatever is asked of us, presented to us, happening through us, as we choose each day to come alive as much as we can. Now, you know what I just heard? Move to what brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. That's what I just heard. I don't know what y'all just heard, but that's what I just heard. then, as if by magic, there is something else that occurs. That would be grace, real, rich, dripping with goodness and sustenance. Grace. This is the sacred blessing that enables us to pay attention to opening doors rather than closing ones. The divine assistance that lets us know our life is proceeding according to a greater intelligence and plan. Once we stop thinking quite so much and live day to day, we will be blessed with the realization that our individual life story is so much more extraordinary and perfect than anything we could have summoned, even with our wildest imagination. This oracle comes with guidance for you. You are being asked to let go, to receive, to become empty, to be filled. This may mean letting go of attachment to a lover so you can receive genuine love. It may be of no longer holding on to a fantasy of your dream job, but of being guided into your most soulful and successful vocation. It may mean letting go of wishes for your body or health to be other than it is, so you can simply get on with living each day, taking steps into wellness without thinking beyond one day at a time. It is the divine paradox that when we are asked to surrender a story or fantasy, it is because reality is knocking at our door more often than not with the delivery of what we have been fantasizing about, but in the best way for us. The human experience of this paradox is that you may feel you are giving up hope, that your fantasy is dying. It may be very painful and bring you much grief, but all that is dying is your attachment and opinion about how it must be. This needs to happen so you can stop dreaming and start living it. This is what is happening for you now. Do not fear any part of your process. Embrace it without expectation, with trust in your heart that the divine is simply guiding you from fantasy into fulfillment. Wow. I'm sorry, but this has been one hell of a reading today, as far as I'm concerned. I hope that, especially if you were here from the beginning, that you were able to find something in these oracles for yourself. If you're just joining us late, you may want to go back and listen to the whole thing. I do go on, I know, but at any rate, I hope this has been helpful. Oh my gosh, I'm knocking my books over. I got to do something about how that goes. I'm going to let that go. If you have anything that you would like to chat about in the realm of consciousness, and you don't have anyone in your life to chat with, that's what I started this channel for, was to have conversations, conscious conversations. I know, well, not this channel because this is the collaborative channel, but if you are interested in having conscious conversations, the only requirement for any of the conversations with me is to have an open mind. I approach every conversation with an open mind because I know that I don't know it all. That didn't always used to be so. And I know that I have certain ideas about the way things are, but I'm also constantly being shown that those ideas aren't exactly 100% so. And so that's really the only requirement I have, is that folks keep an open mind about what their current thinking is about a subject. If you have a hard and fast belief that this is the way it is, I'm still open to hearing from you. However, please know that there'll be no convincing me of anything because I don't know, I keep being shown where nothing is as it seems. There's a lot of hypotheses out there about what it is we're doing here in this realm, what life actually is. The one thing that I do feel 100% certain of is that consciousness itself is expanding. I feel, and my current thinking is that human us humans are going through an evolution of consciousness along with an evolution of our bodies. And, you know, I have lots of reasons to feel that way. But I would love to have conversations with folks about any of that. And so if you would like to engage in conscious conversation, send me an email. Let me know what your topic is that is of interest to you. The email is consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. If we are already friends on Facebook, feel free to send me a private message. DG Walker is now in the house as well. Reality is fluid in my now. So true. Okay, Fawn, I love that. I really would love for us to start back having our conversations the way we've done in the past. Like I said, Conscious Conversation Central was taken down by YouTube back in the days of censorship. And you just never know. It may be again. I won't be doing a lot of those conversations live because after the fact, I might decide whether or not they go on YouTube or on Rumble. But we'll see because, I'm open to all of that. And I'm also open to having conversations with folks that are not recorded. That used to be something that I was a big stickler for because those kinds of conversations prove to be helpful to others, who get a chance to take a listen in. Back in the days of Conscious Conversation Central, I used to hear from folks all the time that said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys are having these conversations because there's nobody else out there that seems to be having these kinds of conversations." And, I think it's an important thing because the art of conversation itself and how to have an open minded conversation seems to be missing in society anymore. Folks get overly offended. People get canceled, and then nobody wants to open their mouth and have any kind of conversation. And so that's a part of what I feel like this is all about. So I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It really is just a matter of perspective. And if you find yourself in a moment where you want to say, "You know what, Sheila, there is nothing about this that's joyous at all," maybe what you're having is an ally in disguise. And it is something worth taking a moment, stepping back, trying to take a look at it in a different way. See if maybe there's a message in whatever is happening for you. And I do feel like there is always more than one way to see a thing, approach a thing, consider a thing. Nothing is as it seems on this planet. So until we meet again, my friends, I hope that you will be well. Mwah. I love you so, so much. And have a great rest of your Tuesday. Bye.